What if I told you there's a goddess who controls the space between life and death? No, this isn't a movie. This is a real legend, older than most of the gods you've heard about. Long before superheroes, long before fairy tales, there were the ancient gods. And hidden among them was one who didn't shout, didn't show off, but held a kind of power no one else dared to touch. Her name was Hecate, the goddess of magic, witchcraft, ghosts, and the unknown. Once upon a time, when the world was still wild and full of secrets, people believed the gods lived in the sky, in the sea, and even underground. Zeus had thunder, Poseidon had storms, Hades ruled the dead, but Hecate, she didn't need a kingdom, she ruled something far more powerful, the places in between. Hecate was born from two powerful titans, Asteria, goddess of stars and night, and Perseus, god of destruction. From the very beginning, she was different. She wasn't made to rule people. She was made to understand the things others feared, shadows, spirits, strange dreams, and magic that couldn't be explained. She was the one people called on in the dark, not because she caused fear, but because she could guide you through it. Hecate didn't live on Mount Olympus like the others. She lived near the edges of the world, where light met darkness. She could walk between the worlds of the living and the dead, and that made her both respected and feared. In ancient times, people believed Hecate stood at crossroads, those places where three paths met. They would leave offerings at night, bread, garlic, cheese, or fish. They weren't gifts for fun. They were left in silence with hope that Hecate would protect them from evil, from ghosts, from things they couldn't see but knew were there. And here's the strange part. She did. Not because she loved humans, not because she had to, but because she understood what it meant to be lost. You see, Hecate's power wasn't about being the strongest. It was about being the wisest. She knew what no one else did. She saw what others wouldn't dare to look at. That's why some believed she had three faces, to look into the past, the present, and the future all at once. That idea might sound scary, but think about it for a second. What if there was someone who could see your whole path even before you did? Someone who didn't push you to choose, but simply lit the way. That's what Hecate did. She carried torches, not weapons. Her job wasn't to control people. It was to guide them through darkness. She didn't force you to take one path or the other. She just showed you where each one could lead. And sometimes that's the scariest power of all, knowing that the choice is yours. Hecate wasn't worshipped like Zeus or Athena. There were no grand temples with crowds of followers. Her worship was quiet, secret. It happened at night, at the edge of the village, or deep in the forest. But her followers were loyal. They believed in her magic, not the flashy kind, but the deep kind, the kind that touches your soul. She knew herbs that could heal or harm. She spoke with the dead and helped their souls find peace. She understood how dreams could carry messages. She was the goddess of liminal spaces, the times in life when you feel like you're not here or there, like you're standing in between what was and what's next. Have you ever felt that way? Like something in your life is ending, but the next part hasn't started yet. That feeling of being lost, confused, maybe even a little scared. That's when the legend says, Hecate is closest. She doesn't fix things for you. She doesn't make the decision, but she gives you a light, just enough to see the next step. That's why, even after thousands of years, people still remember her, not with fireworks or festivals, but with quiet prayers, candles in the dark, and whispers under the moon. And maybe, just maybe, she's still walking the crossroads, watching, waiting, holding a torch for someone ready to face the unknown. As time went on, the world changed, but Hecate never disappeared. While the big gods of Olympus slowly faded from memory, Hecate stayed alive in quiet corners, in old books, in secret spells, in the stories of people who still believed in unseen things. In the Middle Ages, magic was feared. People who used herbs, who healed with their hands, who whispered to the wind, they were called witches. And many of those people looked to Hecate, not as a monster, but as a symbol of wisdom, of freedom, of power that doesn't need permission. Imagine a time when even asking the wrong question could get you punished. Now imagine a goddess who encouraged those questions. Hecate became the patron of the curious, the bold, the ones who didn't fit the rules. She protected those who stood at the edge of society, just like she stood at the edge of worlds. Her image appeared in secret rituals. Her name was whispered before casting a spell or making a wish. Not because she was a fairy godmother, but because people believed she could guide the energy of the unknown. She was also deeply connected to the moon, especially the dark moon, that strange silent time when the sky has no light. That's when Hecate was believed to be most powerful, not when everything is clear, but when everything is hidden, because that's the space she rules best, the mystery, the in-between. Think about your own life. How often are you truly in between things? Not just physically, but emotionally. That moment when a chapter ends, but the next hasn't begun. When you leave something behind, but don't yet know what's ahead. Those moments are scary, but they are also powerful, and according to legend, that's when Hecate appears, not to tell you what to do, not to take away your fear, but to walk beside you with her torches in hand, helping you see what's already inside you. Even today, in modern times, Hecate has not been forgotten. In fact, her influence is growing. Thousands of people, from spiritual seekers to everyday thinkers, feel drawn to her. Not because she offers easy answers, but because she represents something deeper. The courage to stand in the dark, the wisdom to choose your own path, and the strength to step into the unknown, even when no one else understands. That's real magic, not tricks, not potions, but transformation, the kind that happens when you stop running from fear and start listening to it. Hecate doesn't promise safety. She doesn't give rewards for belief. What she offers is far more rare: clarity. She shows you the truth, even if it's uncomfortable. She doesn't soften the world, she makes you stronger. That's why people honor her at crossroads, at doorways, at turning points. Because those are the places where something ends and something begins. Some say she has 3 faces, maiden, mother, and crone, to remind us that every phase of life matters: youth, growth, wisdom, death, rebirth. She is with you through all of it. So, the next time you feel lost, confused, or unsure of what comes next, remember this: maybe you're not stuck, maybe you're not broken, maybe you're just standing at a crossroads, and maybe, just maybe, there's a torch burning quietly in the dark, waiting for you to notice it. Because Hecate has never left. She's never needed a throne or an army or a crown. She has always lived where the world is quietest, in the space between fear and choice. And if you listen closely, When the world goes still, you might just feel her there, not to save you, but to walk with you, as you save yourself.